they actually recommended another 21 people be indicted for their role in trying to steal the election. The report was released, included saying that the grand jury said the Republican senator from Lindsey, South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, should have been indicted, as well as former Georgia senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. In addition, they said attorney Lynn Wood, Cleta Mitchell, and also Trump advisor Boris Epstein should have also been indicted. That says the grand jury cited a statute, quote, alleging commission of a crime without specifying the offense. Graham had this to say about the grand jury's report recommending he be charged for his role in the Georgia election interference case.
This is troubling for the country. We can't criminalize senators doing their job when they have a constitutional requirement to fulfill. It would be irresponsible for me, in my opinion, as chairman of the committee, not to try to find out what happened. It would be irresponsible for me to tell the voters of South Carolina what I did without actually trying to find out what the right answer was. So we're opening up Pandora's box here. Fulton County is one of the most liberal jurisdictions in the country. I fear this will spread, that the next election, Democrats may be on the other side of this. So at the end of the day, nothing happened. What I did was consistent with my job as being a United States Senator, chairman of the Judiciary Committee, but it was just not me. 3 United States senators. We're opening up Pandora's box. I think the system in this country is getting off the rails, and we have to be careful not to use the legal system as a political tool.
Kelly, I'm confused. When did it become the job of a U.S. Senator from South Carolina to be calling the Secretary of State of Georgia looking for some votes for Donald Trump? I'm sorry, and then as the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I'm sorry, did the Senate Judiciary Committee have jurisdiction over the election in Georgia?
No. Nope. And I don't know. To answer your first question, I don't know. To answer your second question, no. When I first saw this story come out, I had to double check and make sure that Lindsey Graham was the senator of South Carolina, because I was just like, why are you minding their business? Mind your business, right? But further, let's just say he stands 10 toes down in this lie about he's doing this in the capacity as a senator. You didn't let the rest of your committee know what you were doing. You didn't disclose any of your actions to the committee before you were doing it. None of the committee outside of you knew what you were doing. So how can you say that was on behalf of the committee in the Senate? It goes back to the arguments that even the cops are talking about in Pennsylvania. Like, people are just making up crap in order to cover their ass. And, in this case, he's not indicted. I personally believe it's because the DA in Fulton County, while there may have been evidence there, she chose to pick her battle. She picked her strongest ones, and she's got a strong case. And she didn't want to muddy the waters by indicting a senator from South Carolina minding the business of people in Georgia. I mean, that's just me. That's what I think happened. Obviously, I'm not the DA, but he slipped by once. I think there's going to be other chances to get at him. And, I personally would just stay away from a mic from here on out until you're completely in the clear. Because,
I love this BS, Michael, by Graham. It should never be a crime for a federal elected official, go to my iPad, particularly the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who will have to vote to certify a presidential election, to question and ensure the integrity of that election. I'm sorry. First and foremost, let's be clear here. He would have voted to certify the entire election.
Right.
Lindsey Graham called Georgia specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where there's a Republican governor, a Republican lieutenant governor, a Republican secretary of state, a Republican who ran the elections. All of those Republicans said, free and fair election. And by the way, isn't it interesting? Nobody contested any of their races. So the
Correct.
only election was Trump's. They didn't even question any of the other statewide races. Just this one. Senator Lindsey Graham is a lying sack of shit.
Well, absolutely. He's been that way for some time. I think his spine is buried in the casket of Senator John McCain, because something happened to Lindsey Graham after John McCain's death.
Power. Power did. The thirst for power.
Well, power, and he's a coward. Okay, and he's a sniveling coward as well. So here you have, now I thought Republicans were for states' rights. Here you have a U.S. senator, right, infringing upon the rights of a state to run their election. I thought they were for states' rights. And the vote was 13-7. Okay, actually, the special purpose grand jury, they suggested that he be indicted, but it probably was not as strong of a case as the other ones. The other total was a total of 19 who were indicted. So you had 21 who were unindicted, all right? And I read the 98-page indictment that actually listed 30 unindicted co-conspirators. So this really hurts the argument of a lot of these MAGA nuts saying this was a witch hunt, where you see, well, wait a second. Fani Willis chose not to indict 21 of these idiots, but to indict 19. She's going with the strongest case, and justice is going to be rendered to all of them one way or another. Either it's going to be this case, there's going to be another case, or something like this. He died. Lindsey Graham dies this one, but I think the wheels of justice, the long arm of justice, is going to end up catching up with Lindsey Graham.
Watching Matt might say, you know what, I just think that you guys are giving too much attention to this. No, because what people need to understand, Matt, this is a dry run for what they're going to do. I need to take you back to 2000. Roger Stone was there in Florida in Bush v. Gore, in Bush versus Gore. They were there intimidating those folks who were doing the recounts down there. They were doing dirty tricks then. So this ain't like no new thing here. We're gonna have close elections, and these people are looking at this here, and they're trying to figure out, how do we game this system again?
Yeah, I think that's right. But let me zone in on something about this grand jury that we're not discussing. What people may not realize is, first, we don't have all the evidence, so we don't know the extent of what they had on Lindsey Graham. But the real hustle is, if they don't indict him, he can be called as a witness.
Precisely.
Right? And he does not get all of the protections of a defendant. So this might be a brilliant strategic move by Fani Willis's team, where they said, we don't love all the evidence we have, or maybe we do love the evidence we have on Lindsey Graham, and what we'll do is we'll smoke him out. Right? We'll call him to testify, and he'll either have to plead the fifth,
and let's see, or perjure himself.
Or he'll perjure himself, or he'll testify to exactly what he did. So first, I don't understand how somebody who's a sitting United States senator does not have a competent lawyer that says, keep your monkey behind off TV making any kind of statement.
Easy, because he was a JAG lawyer in, I think he was in the Air Force, and he thinks he's smarter than them.
Well, cool story, bro, because you're an idiot if you're out making statements and a grand jury has, submitted a report saying they think you should be indicted. First thing is, shut your behind up to begin with. But beyond that, this might be precisely why they didn't indict him, because they're going to smoke him out and put him on the stand and make him testify and make him do the song and dance, where he'll have to either lie, tell the truth, or plead the fifth. So this could not be a matter of them, either overlooking the evidence or deciding not to charge him and Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. They might be, intending to leverage them. And as we've said before, I expect relatively soon we'll start to hear who's cooperating with this investigation. And it could be one of those circumstances where Lindsey Graham's team, had him be king for a day, where he proffered or otherwise gave evidence to the government, with the exception or with the understanding that he wouldn't be indicted, or at least not on what he provided. I mean, there's so many things behind the scenes that we don't know that could be coloring this decision, but I suspect it's probably strategic, in which case we may see Lindsey Graham in the witness seat sooner than later.
I just want everybody to understand, these people are going to try to do this again. Listen to me, people. and y'all keep hearing me say this, and I blasted Chris Christie on this. Listen to me very clearly, the Republican Party, they have no morals, no values, no principles, no ethics. They care about power. It's about the power. And they will do whatever is necessary to hold on to that power. And we had better realize that.